shit is loud as fuck. I even tried to like soften the volume on it, but man, it's Sunday. I'm fucked up from this time change. We lost an hour last night. I woke up at 4:30 a.m. on my phone,
Yeah.
but I'd actually been asleep 7.5 hours. So I was like, okay, I'll get up. And then I decided to go to the market earlier, and the market wasn't even fucking open yet, which was kind of bullshit to me. But yes,
Motherfuckers, how dare they be closed?
I know we're 1 week away for the boys to come back into action versus Scotland. There were a handful of games yesterday. I understand that you didn't watch any, but I will give you the gist of what I saw.
Lay it
Obviously,
on me, mate.
the big one, the All Blacks versus England, the third time they've played this year in this calendar year. Um, All Blacks finally get a score in the last 20 minutes, but still get a card at the 76th minute. Anton Leonard-Brown with it's going to be turned to a red. It was obvious head. I mean, he tackled the guy with his head. Tackled the guy's head with his head. So of course, I guess the big controversy leading into it was the Joe Marler comments, which I'd like to announce to everybody. I have officially been blocked by Joe Marler on all social media. If you want to know why, I'd love to tell you. It's because I told him to shut the fuck up, bitch. I just like this whole thing
So
where
you told him what everybody wanted to tell him.
Yeah,
is that what
you say what you're gonna say. Like I say controversial shit all the time, and I stick to it. This motherfucker says it, and then shuts all the social media down. Oh, I gotta take a mental health break. I'm like, no, you got roasted alive. Then he tried to go back on it. Then when nobody bought that, what did he announce today?
What did he announce?
He retired. I don't care. Like, fuck you, man.
Did you see how I stopped breathing there for a second?
I'm gonna play the tiniest violin for Joe Marler. Like, I don't give a shit, man. Like, okay, good for you, retire. I don't want to hear from you again.
Yeah, we don't give a shit.
So then we had the Haka. I mean, obviously, fans who don't grow up watching it thought it was the most insane Haka ever. Led by Cody Taylor, so they finally quit letting a pipsqueak lead the Haka. They let a big man lead the Haka. And I mean, like, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Like, I haven't seen a passionate Haka in a while from the All Blacks. They're really, to me, they're just going through the motions at this point. It's not really, and I mean, I don't think they should get rid of it, but like,
You know my opinion about the Haka, though.
Are you not a fan of it?
I honestly can't give a fuck, bro. Like, to be honest with you, all right, like I'm different to a lot of people. Look, you know me and the shit talking Olympics, right?
Yeah.
So, for me, like, why is nobody else allowed to do something? Okay, I get, it's a long-standing like tradition, blah 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 blah. Okay, but why can't you face up to it? Why is it so disrespectful? They are laying down the challenge. You are up for the challenge. Go walk up on these oaks. You know what I mean? This is my opinion. Okay, they're allowed to do their shit. I don't give a shit. Okay, they can do it. Great. It's tradition, whatever, right? But what is our tradition? Our tradition is walking up and fucking you up physically. Okay, that is our tradition. Okay, so why can we not intimidate them back? Right.
Well, it doesn't help when you've got people laying on the pitch with cameras point. Like, you know what I mean? Like, look, like I feel like as a Springbok fan and being partially South African, that like that Haka has a completely different meaning to me, and I think to us in general. Like it's a challenge. They lay out the terms, and we as the history of our dads, not my father in particular, but military. Like they had to join the military. For us, it's like a battle is just another thing that you have to do to be a man. And I feel like that's where it's unique with South Africa because we're battle hardened and like we accept the terms of the battle and then we go to it. It's and you'll see like the clips of like when they did the Haka here in Washington, D.C. versus USA, they were posting photos of people like smiling and they thought it was disrespectful. It's like, no, these guys are smiling because it's the first and only time in their life they will ever face a Haka, and it was like a
Yeah.
surreal moment. And I think there's that to it, but it's like at the same time, it's like to sit here and say that like when TJ led one or when Sam Kane leads one, it's like epic. No, it's terrible. Like those guys are just going through the motions. Like find me a guy. I always liked Pity Weepu. When Pity Weepu did it, it was like it was a thing, and I don't mind if you do it, but don't sit here and act like it adds integrity to the game because to me
Yeah.
it doesn't. It adds pageantry, and that's fine. Be
Yeah.
pageantry about it, but
So for
it,
me, like I say, I understand the cultural aspect of it. I get it. Okay. But what I'm saying is, why are you not allowed to walk up to them and face the challenge? Okay. This is what I'm
accept
saying.
it,
Okay.
accept it, step
I'm
up to their face and
accepting
be
of
like,
your
"I'm here,
challenge.
let's go."
Okay. Here I am, motherfucker. Okay. Why is it disrespectful? I don't understand. This guy, okay, is doing a war cry. Okay. It's a fucking war cry. That's what they used to do when they go to battle. Okay. It's a war cry. Okay. They said there's no what in love and war.
There's no love lost.
Okay. So the bottom line is, right? Like for me, I firmly believe it's not disrespectful. In fact, it shows that you are up for their challenge they just laid down. Okay, so that's why I'm so over the actual haka because they're making such a thing about it and like everything is disrespectful to them. Stop being pussies. You're playing a fucking rough man sport. Okay,
Yeah,
grow the fuck up and move on. All right. So I don't understand why, like the plane. Look, man, you can't just stop a plane mid-air. Fuck. Okay. So it was like 5 seconds out. Fuck,
yeah.
man. So
It was
sorry.
a
Grow the
timing
fuck
issue.
up.
I don't think that was intentional when that happened, but
And the thing is also that plane leaves a specific time, bro. Maybe
yeah,
you guys on the fucking field were delayed. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Maybe you guys weren't actually running out on the pitch doing your shit at the time that you're supposed to. Now they're 10 seconds over the time and they're clashing with your time. Grow the fuck up.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the thing. So I don't understand why they're getting all pissy about it. So honestly, I couldn't give a shit about the haka. That's just my personal opinion.
There
It's
you
great
go.
for them. It's their religion. Whatever. Okay. I don't give
Yeah.
a fuck.
So, with that being said, obviously the whole lead up to it was about that. They do get a try. All Blacks finally get a try in the last 20 minutes. They do get a yellow card. Angus Gardner was the official. Absolutely fucking cuck job. Like just horrible.
Really? Like normally it's not too bad.
So he early in the first half, a lot of off the ball tackles by the All Blacks. He calls up Scott Barrett. Sam Kane for some reason tries to walk up too, and I'm like, get the fuck out of here, dude. You shouldn't even be on this team anymore, bitch. But
You're not
anyways,
captain today, motherfucker.
tells him that's three I've seen. If I see it again, there's going to be somebody set off. I mean, I counted at least four more in that first half that never got shit. The card that they finally did get at the 76th minute, they probably should have gotten way before that.
Yeah.
So I do have to bring up a few notes. All Blacks win 24-22, so obviously the All Blacks are back on top, I guess. They were never in the game until the last like 10, 15 minutes of it. It was very back. It was kind of Mark Talea had a hell of a game. That new loose forward they got, Wallace Satiti was man of the match, and he fucking looked good. But I mean, it was also
Yeah.
it was England. I mean, it's not like it's a huge. I mean, they're a good team. Don't get me wrong, but like, I don't really feel like it was that justified in being like, oh, that historic. I did pick England to win by like 5, so obviously I was off on that. But Marcus Smith finally had a hell of a game. He was great off the tee, good kicking. Kind of the same situation that we had with Manny Libok a few weeks ago, where we blamed him for losing the game. George Ford came in as a replacement and should have never been in the position to have to win the game off of his boo. Like they
Yeah.
had the game in hand and kind of gave it away. So that was
Yeah.
that game. Next game we had was a game that was not streamed anywhere. I had to watch it online. We had the All Blacks 15 versus Munster.
Yeah.
And no Jean Klein. It was basically Munster's half their team and half their academy squad. pretty entertaining up until the last 20 minutes. All Blacks 15 end up running away with it. And then you had the other game on the day, the other big one, which was Scotland versus Fiji. Scotland absolutely just fucking destroying Fiji, like 54, I think, to 17.
Shit.
And this is the diatribe I have to go off on. Whenever they announce the score, I'm like, what'd you fucking expect? It's a tier 2 team versus Scotland. Oh, why do you got to talk down about tier 2 all the time? And I'm like, well, how come every time I say tier 2, you bring up Fiji immediately? Why don't you bring up Namibia? Why don't you bring up Namibia? Why don't you bring up the US, Canada? No, you don't. So you want to bring up Fiji, and I tell you the gap is not getting closer. Oh well, Portugal is beating other tier 2 teams. They're not beating tier 1 teams. Like mentioning that Georgia beat Fiji in a World Cup is not quite the flex that you think it is because they're both tier 2 teams.
Yeah, 100%.
Like I went and did a list of the amount of tier 2 teams that have beaten tier 1 teams in like the last 20 years.
Yeah.
And average 2, maybe 3 a year. Some years you didn't have any. 2015, we should remember the one that we got that year.
Yeah, 100%. Japan, South Africa.
Never be allowed to forget about it, despite Ireland doing the same thing 4 years later, losing to Japan. And it's like Japan is a tier 1 team now, and that's fine. But like people are like, oh, it is getting better. It is getting better. And I'm like, show me where. Well, Fiji. I'm like, well, no, don't say Fiji. Show me a tier 2 team that's improving. Yeah. And they can't. They can't. Oh, they'll say Spain and Portugal are playing now. That doesn't mean that they're people don't understand. Look at the
There's
score.
a massive guys. There's a massive fucking gap between first tier and second tier. Okay, there's a massive fucking gap, regardless of what you'd like to believe. Okay, we hype up those games in World Cup like but because purely the reason behind it is it's such a great opportunity for the second tier team to face a first tier team. That's the only thing. Okay. It's not that we ever thought, hey, these guys are in for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, they're not going to win that game, bro. Like, you can check any game that we've played against any second-tier team, okay? It's always a blowout. Always, okay? It's not fucking equal. It's like a fucking professional team facing a school's team, okay? You can't compare the two, bro. It's like the one is professional sport. The other one is the guy's got a fucking day job.
It's why I don't want to play Namibia. Because we already know we would put 100 up on Namibia, like easily. And what's that going to help them? It's not. And it's like, well, why do you have to be so negative? Well, I live in the United States where you can get online and find people saying we've had a great rugby year. How many games? USA has played 6 games this year. How many games have they won?
I don't know, but if I had to guess 2.
They've won 1. They beat Canada. They beat Canada.
Yeah.
They lost every other game in the Pacific tournament. They lost to Romania. They lost to Scotland. And it's like, oh, well, some of those games were close. I'm like, getting beat by 20 is not close, guys. That's not close. And then getting beat 41 to, I believe, 17 by Japan. But that wasn't even Japan's A side. That was their B team. Like, quit pretending that like this shit it's they keep talking about possibly expanding the 6 nations, not including South Africa. I don't want to be in that shit anyways, but like, why don't they add Romania or Georgia? Because those teams would get fucking blown out by Italy. Like, the gap is not close. Just because Fiji has the occasional win over a tier 1 side does not mean that's Fiji. Take Fiji out of the argument. But that got into a whole bunch of shit on TikTok yesterday. I pissed a lot of people off. And it's like, of course, the people who scream tier 2 is getting better it's never South Africans. It's never Kiwis. It's never Australians. It's always English, Irish, European people. They're the ones that scream at the loudest.
It's getting better as opposed to what?
Yeah. Like,
as opposed to their former selves? Maybe.
Like, yeah,
but not next to other tier 1 teams.
Yeah, like, I feel like the teams that are at the top of tier 1, anybody that's ranked 1 through 4, 1 through 5, those teams have gotten exponentially better in the last decade. Like, yeah, the All Blacks aren't what they used to be, but the All Blacks would still probably beat 99% of the teams on the planet, But so we had that, like I said. So
But
that
it's always
game,
fun to have those arguments, though.
yeah,
Because you know you're right, mate.
it's just, yeah, like it's like especially for like kids who are under the or 18 or under that don't remember the amateur era. I still remember that shit. Like I remember
Yeah.
when these guys had day jobs. Like people think everybody went professional in 95. When I interviewed Mario Ledesma, that was my biggest shock. They didn't become tier 1 until 2011, 2012. And guess what? That meant they were still amateur till that point. That's why so many of them played in Europe, because it was the only way to make a paycheck. And like,
Yeah.
you know, we look back at some of the old box and you find out how many of them are doctors, which kind of shocks me, the amount, because those old guys back in the day, they didn't look like they were too good at being doctors. You know? But yeah,
Fair
and like I said, tier 2, do I wish it would get better? Yes. Do I wish Namibia was more competitive? Yes. But like honestly, if South Africa had to play African teams, I can't think of any of them that would even have a remote chance. None of them would.
Dude,
Like
all of them will get slaughtered.
yeah,
Every single fucking African country would be murdered.
if you
Like
made
when it comes to
Argentina
rugby.
only play South America and North American teams, they would put up 50, 60 on every single one of those teams. Every single
Yeah.
one. If you made Australia and New Zealand only play Fiji, Tonga, and Samoa, they would blow every single one of them out of the water. It's
Yeah.
just how it is. And as far as the whole talk of Fiji going tier 1, we know that's not going to happen. And it's not because Fiji's crap. It's because there's three countries that depend on them for players that are tier 1. New Zealand, Australia,
I
and
wonder
Japan.
who those people
Yeah.
are.
Depend on that country for fucking players. They're not going to bite the hand that feeds them. I honestly think the only reason the Fijian Drua exist was because Sanzar kept getting pissed at Fiji wanting to join the rugby championships. So they said, here's a professional team. Now shut the fuck up and leave us alone. Like it's not, you know, but yeah. So Scotland wins big, expectedly over Fiji. All Blacks 15 beats Munster, and All Blacks narrowly escape. And then there was also another game that Belgium played Switzerland.
The most polite game ever.
45-7 was the final. Belgium, absolutely. And then I looked at the Belgian roster and realized real fast why.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Van der Merves and Potgeiters. There's a lot. Same thing with Germany.
Africans.
There's a lot of South Africans on the German squad as well for some odd reason. I don't know why it is, but for some odd reason.
Yeah.
But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about, well, first off, next Sunday we will be live watching the Springboks absolutely, hopefully hammer Ben Russell into oblivion. Perhaps.
We got what you call him, Peter Steph, the tackle, to do so. So it's fine.
Did you hear the other rumor? Duhan van der Merwe is looking to come to the Stormers, possibly.
Oh shit. Okay, fair enough.
He's never making the
well, I mean, he's not making the Springbok squad, but I mean, he could do some wonders. But I mean, guys like Leo Linzas and those acts, they're playing well, for the Stormers. So
yeah,
I don't know.
But so yes, obviously, I'm surprised you didn't mention anything about when it started.
Yeah, you fucking.
I'm wearing a Scotland jersey. I ordered this. I got that, and I got a Munster jersey at the same time. Mostly just because, like, honestly, I mean, you got Dylan Richards in the Shark, you got Duhan, you got Schoeman, you had Nell, you had Stain. Like, it's basically the SAU 20 squad, essentially. But I got it for the Six Nations just so I could say, hey, I have a Scotland jersey. I wasn't going to get an England jersey. I wasn't going to get a France jersey.
You burned that fucker.
Yeah. So let's go ahead. I want to go ahead and pick who we think would be the strongest 23-man squad. And it doesn't matter of what we have available for this tour. What's your 23-man squad? You want to go first?
You go first.
Me go first. My front row will consist of Bongi Manombi at hooker, and my props will be Salads Don't Win, Scrubs, Oxen Shea, and Vincent Cole will be my front row starter. Who are your front row starters, sir?
Bro, I've got Ox and Che.
Okay.
Bongi Manombi.
Okay.
And Gerard Steenekamp.
You got Steenekamp starting.
Yeah, man. I watched the games where Vincent Koch was playing for the Sharks, and he got out scrummed a few times, mate. So I'm not sure that he's in peak condition at the moment. So Gerard Steenekamp's been putting up hard graft, so I would rather see him start.
So we
I
move
got
to
I got Vincent on the bench, but I mean,
okay.
like, I wouldn't.
We'll get to the bench. We'll go with our locks. I'll go first. I've got Evan Etzebeth and Seuss Franco Mustard will be my starting locking duo.
I went the other way.
What do you got?
I went Eben Etzebeth and Ruan Norkia, mate.
Wow. Have you liked what you've seen from them as a
I've
pairing?
liked what I've seen. The reason why I went that way, right? This is Sosa's first game back.
Yeah.
So I'd rather see him coming from the bench and like warm up to the game. Okay.
Okay.
Next week I might pick him to start. Okay.
Yeah.
But I put Ruan Norkia because he's been playing very well. Okay, for South Africa. He's put his hands up and I think he deserves another shot. Okay. We know what we can get out of Sos. Okay. And to be quite frank, I would rather have Sos come off the bench. So I put Eben and Ruan.
Okay. So we go to the back row. I have no surprise Sio Khaleesi captaining the side. I've got Peter Stuff to tackle, aka Peter Stuff to toy. And I've gone with so I'm not gonna give him the shot yet, but I'm gonna go with Jasper Visa as my number 8. I had to keep it a little safe.
Same year, bud.
Okay, exactly.
Same year.
Yeah, maybe against Wales is when I'll give Hanacom a good run. My 9 and 10, I'm going to go with a bit of veteran stability. I've gone with Jacobus, aka Kobus Reinek, and Andre Pollard at 9 and 10. Who have you gone with?
I went the opposite way.
Whoa!
I went Jaden Hendrickse, Mani Lubbock, boss.
Oh, damn! That's not bad.
You know why? Because Jaden Hendrickse really proved himself as a kicker as well, right?
And when
when he was asked to kick,
when Manny didn't have to kick, he was insane.
So
not a bad idea.
That's why. And I mean, Mani's played against Scotland before, so he played that game with that no look kick and all that.
Yeah, well, we remember it. Yeah.
So
my wings, my wings are Kurt Leorenza and Cheslin Colby. I don't think
pretty simple. Yeah.
Okay. At center, this is where we might have a difference. I have gone instead of Damien Dialende at 12. I'm starting Andre Esterhuizen and Jesse Krill at 12 and 13. I've been very impressed with what I've been seeing with Esterhuizen at the Sharks. He's really picked up his work rate, and I'd love to see a little bit more of an attacking 12 out there a bit. What about you? What'd you go with, man?
I went tried and trusted, mate. I went Damien Dialende, Jesse Krill.
I can't do this without Creel. I can't see the team without Creel at 13 for some reason. I just can't right
100%.
now. And to round it off, I didn't go with Villy at 15. I went with Fossey.
I went with Fossey as well, but
he's really stepped it up. He's really stepped it up. Now, this is where I know we have a huge difference here. I've gone with the 5-3 split off the bench. You have gone with
7-1, mate.
7-1. Okay. I will go first with my forward replacements, since it's going to be a shorter list than yours. Michael Marks, Steenekamp, and believe it or not, Lowe will be my other prop replacements. No Thomas DeToy. I love him, but I just feel like he's too big. And then I've got Franco Mustard, or excuse me, not Franco Mustard. Arhe Snyman and Quokka Smith are my forward replacements. So Mark, Steenekamp, Lowe, Schneiman, and Quokka Smith are my forward replacements. Let's see what you got. Your 6 forward replacements.
7.
7
forward replacements. So I've got Malcolm Marks, Thomas DeToy, Vincent Koch.
Okay, that's your front row replacement. Not bad.
Full fucking lock replacement. Franco Mustard, Arhe Snyman. Okay. Then I've gone with 1 fucking flank replacement, Quokka Smith.
Okay.
Number 8 replacement, Cameron Hanekom.
You're going to give him his run against Scotland.
I'm going to give him a fucking shot, bud. Sink or swim.
Yeah, throw him into the deep end. Let's see what
Sink
happens.
Or swim.
Shit. Okay. Well, since
but
you only...
I would say probably like 15 to 20 minutes. I'd throw him in.
Okay, so who is your 1 back replacement then?
Andre Pollard.
Okay. So yeah. I've got Grant Williams to replace Jakobus Renek, Manny Libok, and Philly LaRue. Those are my back replacements. And I figure if anything, you slot Andre back at 12 to handle the kicking.
Yeah.
Send on Esterhuizen off to the bench, and Philly would just do what Philly does, which is play his game well and piss everyone off with his fucking mouth.
Yeah, 100%.
I think either of these lineups would have great success. Yours or mine would have great success against Scotland. I know that they've obviously got a new captain with Tupelotu, the captain there at center. Their 12 is their captain, but
Where's he from again?
his brother, I think, is also on the team now too. So yeah, both Aussie boys. I keep getting told they say, "Oh, their grandmother is Scott." I don't buy that shit one bit, dude. Those guys are Pacific Islanders who grew up in Australia. But I have to say, I had gone through and made my predictions for this autumn series, saying that I thought the All Blacks would lose to England, lose to France, and lose to Ireland. I'm still going to pick them to lose to Ireland 100%.
I'm still picking them to lose against France and Ireland.
You still are, or you are? Or
yep.
You are? I just, and people ask me, why Ireland? Why are you picking Ireland? Dude, because Ireland showed us in that 2-game series, they have the ability to adapt. They have the ability to adapt and overcome. We beat them in the first game, but it wasn't by a convince. It wasn't
Bear Grylls, motherfucker.
What's up?
Bear Grylls, motherfucker.
Yeah, it's. I just I still think they're, and I know they have injury trouble. They're missing their top 2 hookers, but it's for me. Oh, and that England England All Blacks game, Cody Taylor went off in the 3rd minute.
Yeah.
And it really reminded me, and people saying, "Oh, can they do this?" And I was like, when did this happen before and we won? Didn't we have a 37-year-old who hadn't really played a lot at Dion Footy came in.
Good to the World Cup that you're referring to. Was that the World Cup final?
I think so, man. I mean, and that wasn't even the first big one. We lost Malcolm Marks in the pool and still won a World Cup. Losing your class hooker is not the end of the world. Just ask the Springboks. They've done it twice and still won. It's just.
Do they still have Gibson Park?
What's that?
Do they still have Gibson Park?
They'll have Gibson Park. They're going to have, outside of a couple of injuries in the front row, they're going to have a full team. They're going to have James Lowe.
Fucking up. In my opinion, they're fucking up New Zealand, bro. That's my opinion.
I don't even think it's going to be close. And I honestly think France at home versus they're going to fucking beat. It's going to not be comfortable. That's just my personal opinion. I don't really have. I think they beat the shit out of Italy. At the end of it, they'll beat the absolute.
My honest opinion was from the get-go, I thought they would win against England.
Okay.
I thought they would lose against France and Ireland, and they would beat Italy.
Yeah.
That was my prediction.
I still, I guess England's got Australia next week. I think they easily beat Australia with no issues. But
look, man, if they lose against Australia, then we should have a walk in the park.
Yeah. Oh, that would be fucked up if that happened. I kind of don't want that to happen just because, fuck, man, that would suck. Because they'd be pissed when we play. I mean, I'm not really worried about beating England either. That's not really a.
Man, can I tell you something? I honestly don't buy into the whole hype of, oh, I lost this previous game. Next one, we're gonna be so angry and hungry. I don't buy into that bullshit, mate. Okay,
really?
If you're good enough, you would win. If you're not good enough, you won't win. Okay, for me, if you lost the fucking game, okay, your ego takes a knock, mate. So, you can. There's 2 ways you can look at it. You can either be angry and go play, but I just don't think they got it in them in New Zealand at the moment. Okay, and I don't think they got it in England at the moment to be able to do that either. Okay, to be down 1 game and the next game you're so fucking angry and motivated and shit. I just don't think they got the cattle in their teams, and I don't think they got the leadership in the right positions either. So, but that's just me,
as much as I hate him because he's one of those guys I really fucking hate. All fuckboy Farrell, Owen Farrell.
Yeah.
If he had been playing yesterday, I think Elon would have won with ease just because he has that experience. But they didn't have it. Like I said, Marcus Smith really stepped up yesterday. But man, like I said, we had said this already. 3 wins, and they better all be fucking convincing wins, or I'm not going to be happy. I don't want to beat Scotland by 5. I want to beat Scotland by 20 or more. Like, there's nothing. They're not it. Like, they're a good team. I'm not going to shit on them. You know, I am wearing their jersey, but like, I don't think they're on our level, man. Like, they're just not on that level.
We outclassed them in the World Cup. And I believe we will do the same this time around. I honestly, I'd be fucking pissed, okay, if we had to lose any one of these games because let's be quite frank, we are better than we've been in a fucking long time. Number one.
Yeah, definitely.
Number two, we did not take a fucking iffy team to this tour. Okay, we took a fucking strong team to this tour.
Yeah.
Okay, sure, we lost Malherbe. Okay, but let's be frank. I mean, I think Gerard Steenekamp can do the job as well.
And
honestly, I don't think
old.
Koch can do it. Honestly, I don't think Koch is what he's used to be. I don't have that belief in myself, you know, in him. So, which is sad. But I mean, the rest of the team, I believe they can do it. I do not see any one of those players not making a team. I do not see any one of those players not making an international team somewhere. Okay.
Yeah.
So for many other countries. So no, for sure. I think at the end of the day, we took a very strong team for this tour, and yeah, I think we should convincingly beat all 3 teams that we're going to be facing in this November series. So.
Do you know who we have coming to South Africa next winter, right? Or our summer?
Who's coming?
Italy.
Same. I feel sad for them.
The reason I bring this up is people have asked, why hasn't Rassi brought in a bunch of new guys yet? I think that's when we're going to see a lot of new guys.
Yeah. Look, let's be quite frank. There is quite a number of newer guys in this team. I mean, Cameron Honeycomb has never played. He's a debutant. Okay. Then you got somebody like, let's say, Fassi. Fassi, sure, he played before, but he's not an extremely capped individual. Okay.
I'm actually going to pull this up real quick.
I mean, Roland here, not very, very like experienced. He's not that capped either. Gerard Steenekamp, not that capped either. Okay. There's quite a number of people in this team that's actually not like experienced. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, they got a couple of games under their belt, but they're not like fucking 50 games down.
So I'm going to share this screen because we can actually take a look at what we have here, and we can see their caps here. If I add it up here. So I'm going to go to the other screen so I can see it. Obviously, so Krobler's got a couple of caps. Marks is highly capped. Vessels is out. Damn, I thought Dutoy had more caps than that. He doesn't really have a crap ton. Steenekamp doesn't have much. I didn't know we took Van Rensburg on this tour. I think this might be an old one. No, this is the rugby championship one. But like, we do have some guys. I know, like, Esterhuizen doesn't have a crap ton of caps. We do have some.
I mean, he's been around. He's been around, but I mean, like playing games, not that many.
Yeah.
Okay. So at the end of the day, there is quite a number of new faces in this team, and Cameron Honeycomb, when he steps out against Scotland, according to my prediction,
you think he's going to come out and get 20 minutes in?
Fucking hit but someone, bud.
You know what I like so much about him? It's not just his aggression, but when you see him get the ball, like, he has like the ability to really sidestep and like you know what
Oh,
I
he's
mean?
a
Like,
mobile number 8,
he's
eh?
super mobile. Yeah, he's a mobile guy, and I think you get that with him. And I think that's honestly, I love you, Jasper. You're a great guy, but I think Hanacom's going to end up taking Jasper's job real quick. Like, just because he's good under the ball, he's mobile, he's big. Like, I would probably like to see him add maybe a good, like, maybe 8 to 12 kgs in muscle mass just to really get, like, jacked, but not lose the mobility, which that
Yeah.
could kind of hinder that, but it should.
What's his weight now?
Hold on. I don't even know how tall he is. I know he's not the shortest oak. Damn, he is super young too. He's
Yeah, he's
22
like
years
22.
old. So he is 193 centimeters or 6'4", and he's 110 kgs. Yeah, I changed my mind. He doesn't
Yeah,
need
he's fine.
he,
he's
he
fine with
doesn't
his
need
weight.
to add any weight. At 6'4" and 110 kg. Yeah, he doesn't need to add shit. Like he's big
I
enough.
thought he was quite jacked. I was like, okay, like what is his weight then?
Hold on, I want to know how big Pierre Spies was.
Pierce Piece was quite a fucking huge motherfucker. Eh? Like
6'4". Hold on, let me see. He was the same height, 6'4", and 116 kgs. So it's not really a big difference, man. Like,
and what is Jasper, if I may ask? What's the difference?
Oh God, I bet you Jasper is like 6'1". I'm gonna bet. I might be
Jasper
wrong.
looks like he's like
No,
120
he's
kilos.
actually not that much smaller. He's 6'3" and he's 110 kgs.
Oh snap! So same.
Like he has a big. I think Jasper just has a wider body. Like he's a lot more.
Yeah.
Like his
Not too
stomach
big.
is as big. Yeah, like it's unlike with like a guy like Pierre Spies who was just everything from the chest and arms up was just, you know what I mean?
Like his pecs at pecs.
Like he hits the bench a lot. You can tell that guy is hitting the fucking bench like constantly.
Yeah, what did they say about? He reminds me something like what they say with what's that guy's name? Chuck Norris. If you look under his beard, there's just another fist or something like that.
Another fist. Like it was a big ice hockey thing. Legs feed the wolves, so you do a lot of leg work because that's what you need to skate fast. And I feel like with our boys, like who do you think can probably bench the most on the Springboks? Who do you think benches the most on that team?
Bench, not
like bench press. Who do you think is probably does the biggest bench press on the Springboks? I think Eben would be arm curls. I bet Eben can arm curl the most of anybody.
Yeah, but remember, chest is a lot about triceps as well. So
yeah,
and Eben's got some fucking strong triceps as well.
That motherfucker is cut like a Greek goddess. God, dude. If you ever see him with his shirt off, he looks like just like a god, basically.
I would put it between him and Marks.
Dude, I bet Malcolm Marks can fucking hit the weight. I bet that guy
and
can
Bongi as well, eh? I put Bongi like in there.
Marks, Bongi, I think both of them probably do it well. I think any of those front row guys can probably do like a shitload on legs. They could probably both squat. You have to. You're a player. You got to be able to squat a shitload of weight. So, but I think if it was just on the chair, on the chest for chest, chest reps, just up.
I'd say one of those three, mate. That's who I would say. Like,
I think Eben would probably be able to get in there and probably do a lot. Now, I think where you would see a grand difference is when you get to the backs and you look at 40 times, like it's going to be Cheslin and probably Grant at the front of that. But like, I'm pretty sure there's some guys behind them that could get pretty, like it would be pretty competitive after that. But you never know. You never know. It's like I've seen. We've seen our flankers do chip kicks before that were like, that's what forwards do. You're not supposed to do that. I mean, I don't know. You never know with these guys. You never know. Like, I don't know if they get in the gym and they ever even do that. Like, hey, let's see who can max press the most. And
Yeah. Yeah, you got guys like Scott Berger when he used to he fucking skip like every day in the gym. It's like
yeah, there
he
was no
just a tough
skipping.
motherfucker.
Yeah,
So,
it's well, like, and I've heard stories of that of guys that like were like they fucking were terrible at trainings. Like they were not trainings people. They were game day people. That was it. Like
yeah.
they had horrible diets. They had horrible fucking but like when it came to the game, they were the best guy out of the team. And it's just like
Yeah.
some guys are just naturally like you can see it.
Yeah, but those guys tip tackled fucking cows on the farm.
Yeah. Like Peter Stuff the Toy doesn't need a gym to work out. He'll just go work the fields. Like, you know, like
he's the one in the front, like his dad is there behind with the whip. Go, and he's like just pulling that fucking big thing.
Or the tractor gets stuck in mud and he just gets behind it and like pushes it out like you know, like I mean, there was a funny video that went around a few years ago. It was for a Land Rover dealership in the Western Cape, and they had Evan trying to like pull a Land Rover with his arm, like as a curl. So they try it, and the fucking band snaps like 3 times. Like, so it wasn't him not being able. The band couldn't take what he was pulling. Like,
Yeah.
And he never got it to move. Obviously, eventually, I think at the end of the commercial, he just got behind it and pushed it. But it was like, could he curl that car? And it was like, man, I think he kind of probably could pull it with one arm. Like it was just, but that's Evan. Like,
no, freaking nature, man.
I mean, we've seen some of these guys. Like American women that follow me on social media, they'll get with me and start talking about the guys that they think are just like, you know, they'll be like, man, have you looked at Jesse Creel's legs? And I'm like, yeah, of course I have. There's no fat on them whatsoever. Like that guy is cut. Like Cheslin Colby, that guy he's small as hell, but he is nothing but muscle. That's you know,
100%. You can't do what he does in his weight class against guys like double his fucking weight almost, right? And
we've seen him pick guys up that were twice his size, like tackle their legs from under. It's just like, and you love to see it. You love to see it because it's like,
of course, big on man, like small man on big man.
Yeah, like those things. I'm not a tall guy at all, and when those guys take a guy down, it's like, hey, I could do that, and then I get up and stand next to a tall person and be like, man, I'd be fucked, dude. I'm about to break something or dislocate something or both at the same time, or shatter something. Dude, here's something that I did not bring up and it's something I do want to discuss. Can you remember the worst injury you've ever seen in rugby?
God.
Like, I can go the 2021 British and Irish Lions tour when Hendricksa like came down oddly on his knee and pretty much turned his knee the wrong way. That was pretty nasty.
What about that one New Zealander that like got up and his leg was like cut open, like fuck.
Oh, from the studs, for the World Cup, and you could see like the meat and shit hanging out. I've seen that. That was pretty bad. I mean, we've all heard the story about Buck Shelford and like his testicle was hanging out of a scrotum sack after France. That was bad. Yeah. He still had kids. He still had kids after that too. So obviously they didn't take that ability away from him. I mean, I can remember a lot of guys getting knocked out and carted off. Like, I mean,
Grant of course, I can remember that. But I mean,
Grant Williams, his very first game, he gets knocked out and carted off.
Got knocked out like in 30 seconds or 1 minute or whatever.
That was Caleb Clark. Next week, he did the same thing to Jesse Creel. Knocked him out with his thigh.
Yeah. So, I mean, I remember a lot of these things. I mean, I remember Kurtley Oranser taking out, who was it? One of the Barretts, I think it was. In the air, and he fell on his neck basically. Fortunately,
yeah.
So I mean, there's lots of stuff that like that screams out at me, but not like the worst than what I can remember. Like they all were pretty bad, but
I want to say maybe I was watching like Georgia versus maybe Italy one time, and one of their front row players comes off, and like his finger was like this way, like his finger was obviously broken. Like, and the fucked up part was he comes off, he's gone for like 10 minutes. Oh, here he comes back in and he's got his fingers taped together to finish the fucking game with like his fingers taped together.
that was a guy from what, Georgia?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like his
mothers.
finger,
They tough
his,
mothers, eh?
yeah, his finger was like this way. It was like I think it was his pointer, his middle finger, but it was like completely the wrong direction.
No, I've seen like I said, I mean, I've seen some pretty bad injuries, but
I've seen
yeah,
some
nothing like screams out at me. Like
I've seen teeth knocked out before, like at a
yeah.
rugby game. That was pretty common back in the day.
Remember Mostard's face full of blood and
Fuck.
I remember fucking like Creole looking like he went to war in that
was
fucking
the World
one
Cup,
game.
yeah, just drenched. Or you'd see the guys that would get maybe a cut on the forehead and they'd tape it up. They'd go back out and play, and then eventually that tape would get busted. There'd just be blood everywhere. I mean, that's what you get paid to do, guys. Like, you're going out there, and I mean, like, I think that's the other difference too, is that I feel like if you come off as a Springbok with an injury, you're really fucking injured. Like, it's not I twisted my ankle. It's like, no, I'm fucked up. I've got to come off. Like, it's not. And I think, and I can't just say that about the Springboks. You see it in all of rugby. Guys that are like, they stay on and they're fucked up. Like, they don't come off until like the medical staff is like, hey, you need to come off, man.
The most recent example of that is what's his name again? Fuck, who's that fucking Ngomazulu?
Oh, yeah.
Played through his injury. He wasn't even supposed to be on the fucking
field. Should have fucking come off, but didn't. Yeah, now you're out for like 6 months. Like, yeah, I can say it's because he's a kid, but at the same time, it's like, dude, don't fucking do stupid shit like that. If you're fucked up, say something, man. Like, we would have been fine without you, man. Like, we would have won those games regardless of whether you were there or not. Like,
although he still played like he wasn't injured, which is not bad. He shanked a couple of kicks though.
Yeah,
he had a couple of missed kicks, but I mean that we should have known when he missed those kicks because he was like a fucking 100%er, man. Like, and then he like missed a run, a bunch of weird kicks.
His very first kick he ever
like
made
a 60
was
fucking meter kick.
Like 60-meter kick. Hey, put the kid in. Let's see what he can do. And he fucking nails it. You're just like, what the fuck? Hendrickson getting called back in. Neither of us brought that up. I mean, like, he's obviously doing very well with the Sharks. And it sucks because I am a Lions supporter, but like,
right?
Do we give him a chance?
Let's be quite frank. Let's be quite frank. Okay, you got half a fucking Springbok team in that. Okay.
Yeah.
If you don't do well with that team fucking backing you, then you're a shit fucking fly off.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know if he's good really in his own right,
or is it just what he has around him that makes him better?
Well, let me just take a step back. Okay, he is good. Okay, I don't doubt that he's good, but is he the other fly halves on the Springbok squad good? I don't know. Okay, so I mean, is he Handré Pollard? No, he's not. Handré Pollard has proved himself.
What is your hierarchy? We've got four. We got what? We've got Pollard, we've got Libbok, we've got Hendrickson, and we've got Sasha. So what is your hierarchy here? If everybody's fit, what is your hierarchy?
Well, it depends on what gameplay we're doing. So for me, okay, look, I chose for this one Manie Libbok, right?
Yeah.
Which I like the way Libbok plays, okay? If he doesn't have to kick, okay? However, if I had to rank him and Pollard, I would still put Pollard above him, okay? purely because Pollard is as cool as a cucumber, right? He can take he doesn't get flustered. That oak has got nerves of steel. Okay. He's proved himself game in, game out. We know what he can do. That's why I'm
He's
willing to put
proven.
him
He's proven.
100%.
Yeah.
So that being said, that's one side of it. Sasha, however, on the other hand, brings a different dynamic. He sort of brings the Marnie Libok dynamic with the Andre Pollard dynamic.
Because he can play defense, but he can attack too.
Yeah. So I guess it depends on it. Like, it depends even to me who we're playing against, because that might determine who I would play. Okay, because like if we had to play somebody like Scotland, hypothetically, right?
Yeah.
I would play Sasha above Pollard.
Above Pollard.
Yeah. Okay. But if we had to play, let's say, Ireland, I'd play Pollard. Okay. If once again, depends on who the rest of the team is that we're selecting, right? Who's fit and who's going. Okay. Now, I know that's a bit contradictory because we beat them with the speed game and we lost with our defensive game against Ireland, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, how often does that defensive game lose us games?
Exactly.
Okay. So it's not often. So it depends on the game plan of the day. It depends what we're wanting to do. Look, for me, if we want to run a quick game, you can't play Pollard. Okay. It's not to say that he can't have quick hands. I just think there's a better person suited to that specific role in that game. Like, for instance, Sasha, okay, who likes doing the sidestep. He's basically everything that we wanted Willemse to be quite frank. Okay?
Pretty much, yeah.
Because for such a long time, we tried to force that number 10 jersey on Willemse. Okay?
Well, even the Stormers doing it well with the Stormers before Manny came back too. But like, I get what you're saying. We've had him play 10 and he floundered at 10 when he did.
Yeah. But number 15, he plays like a fucking god at 15. Okay? That's just the way he plays. All right. He just needs that extra half a second on the ball to make fucking good decisions, right? So now that's the thing. So for me, Sasha is everything, as I said, everything we wanted Willemse to be. Now imagine him and Willemse on the same field. Okay. Just sidestepping the fuck out of everyone alongside Colby, who sidesteps our own fucking team and then the other team.
Yeah.
All right. Like, just imagine the fucking chaos that it can ensue with those two guys on the field together. Like, it's just like it's like
we still haven't even seen our best team yet. That's the thing to me. Because of injuries, we still haven't seen our best team. Our Tony Brown offense that we're talking about.
Yep.
We haven't even seen it because I hate, as much as it pains me to say this, I think that back line is going to be Willemse, Colby, and a lot of people have argued with me, man. I think Kanan Moody is going to be that back three is going to be Moody, Cheslin Colby, or Kurtley Arenza, and Damian Willemse. That's going to be the back three. You have that back three back there, dude. That's going to be fucking scary, man, because all three of them can run the ball and run it well. Like,
Moody hasn't really shown me that he's got back to where he was before his injury.
Yeah.
So it's a hard ask for me to choose him above Kurtley Arenza at the moment. You know?
Yeah.
Sure, he's young and up and coming and everything, and like they recover quickly and all that type of jazz that comes with it. But cooler heads prevail sometimes, yeah. So that's the thing. So it's difficult for me to say. Look, I mean, a prime Moody is fucking amazing, bro. Like, we saw that first game he played against Australia. He was like electric, right? And any given point in time, like that game against New Zealand, like in the warm-up game before the World Cup, I mean, he was fucking electric there as well.
Yeah, chasing balls down. I mean, like, that's kind of the thing too, is like, I guess the other issue we're having too is that there's some older guys that are putting their
Mm,
hand up and being like, "Look, I'm not fucking done yet." Like Makazole
yeah,
Mbibi has been playing amazing rugby. Lucanio Am
mm,
looks like he's getting back into form. Like
yeah.
it's gonna be
It's not
hard.
difficult.
We're gonna have to start aging some of these guys out, but some of these guys you
Mm.
don't want to because they're just so damn good at what they do. It's like, you know, it's that.
It's like, who do you choose? Like I said to you, man, it was so fucking difficult to do this prediction today. Like, it's there's so many people that's putting up their hands. Okay, that's saying, listen, man, give me a shot. Okay, like for instance, Gerard Stenekamp. For me, like that guy's like really proved himself. Like,
Remember, he was the guy that got a single cap before the last World Cup, and when they started coming out
yeah,
with squads, he was like the guy that got left out. That you were like, man, maybe they should have taken this guy, but we obviously they didn't.
mm,
And I was really hoping, okay, when the next thing wraps up, he's part of it, and he has been since the World Cup's over. He's been a regular guy on the team, and like it's good because if you're a Bulls fan, obviously, but also you see just like the work rate the guy puts in. Like he's a
mm,
very hard working prop, and that's what you
mm,
expect. We don't like any of these. Joe Marler would never make it on the Springboks. His personality is way bigger than his ability. We
yeah,
like ability. Fuck a personality.
yeah.
Like
Like you have a look at guys like Kitsov, for instance. Okay, he's like the most fucking placid oak in the planet. Okay, like you look at him, he just looks like, yeah, man, right on. It's
yeah,
like let's play some game. He just like chilled out. Like he doesn't look like somebody that's just gonna be in your fucking face and now trying to rip the ball and like shit like that. You know what I mean?
well,
Like
Oxen Chain when he's not playing, he looks like the
he's
guy
like
just
the friendliest oak.
like he just looks like he just wants to fucking eat, and that's it. Like, hey, do you got some food? Yeah, yeah, it's in the ice
Yeah.
box, man. Go check it out. Like, it's like,
Yeah, they just look like the friendliest motherfuckers. Just like
yeah,
they're
yeah,
so placid. They like laughing, like making jokes. They like just, and then you step on the field and that guy just runs a hole in your fucking ribs. Okay, and that's just the thing, right? So I mean, Bongi looks like he's about to fuck someone up all the time. Like he just looks like somebody who likes to roll someone. Okay,
even
like
when he smiles, he looks like he's about to fuck you.
yeah, 100%. So Bongi, I can understand. Same with Marks. Marks doesn't look like a fucking happy okay, like on the field. Like he looks like he's there to fuck people up. That's why he's there.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So so yeah, there's for sure like some of those guys, they're just like the most chill oak. Look, it's maybe a hooker thing. I mean, who did we choose the other day of the biggest, like maddest, like motherfucker on that team, right?
Yeah.
Was probably Bullet. Okay. What is his fucking name again?
Uh,
James Dalton.
yeah.
Okay. Like it's always the hookers, mate. They want to fuck shit up always. They're in the middle of it.
Well, have you also kind of noticed how like you bring up Ruan Norquia?
Yeah.
Okay, great work rate with the Bulls. You obviously had him starting with Evan as a partnership, which I don't
Yeah.
think is a bad idea. I don't ever that guy's very emotionless on the field. Like you
Yeah.
never really see, and you kind of saw it with Chipmunk Cheeks, as my friend Josh called him, Lead the Yager,
Yeah. Yeah.
how he's just like kind of very expressionless and like Eben is to an extent, but Eben just has a very serious look on his face when he's playing. Like there's not
Yeah.
really like you see that there's certain guys on
I'm
the
at
team.
work, mate. I'm about to fuck you up. This is
Well,
my job.
it's work, yeah. It's not, like does Evan have a personality? Yeah, from everything that I've seen, but like
Yeah.
when Sia when they got back into camp back in the earlier in the year during the Irish test, Sia had posted a photo of them being in camp together, and like
Yeah.
it's like a photo of them with both serious faces, and then a photo where Sia is smiling and Eben has the exact same face. And I'd made a joke saying like, "Hey, when your friends say, 'Hey, let's go out to the bar,' and you say, 'Yeah, I'm not going to make it,' and then the photo they send you 3 hours later, and Eben's the friend that's that can't get over his disappointment that you
Yeah.
didn't drink with them, and like is that I don't think I think that's like kind of just it's a part of Evan's character. He's very serious. You don't like whenever when he was captaining the team and somebody in a press conference interview asked him, "Hey, does anybody tell you ever tell you look like Bruno?" which is the Sacha Baron Cohen
Yeah.
character. And Eben was like, "No, and that's a stupid question." Like
Yeah.
Eben didn't have time for monkey business. Like
Yeah.
I'm
No,
here to
I think
work.
it's also the role that they're there for, mate. Like if you think about it, right? So you're selected as the enforcer. Okay,
Yeah.
that is the enforcer role. Okay, so you have to have a specific personality. Okay, so it's like method acting, right? Like you never go out of character, and and that's the thing. Okay, so if you think about like let's say the Hulk, okay, with Bruce Banner in like the Avengers,
Yeah.
they say
Yeah.
to him, like he says, the secret is I'm always angry. Okay, so you know what I mean. So I think that's the thing about Yabin, right? So I mean, he has to have that mentality on the field. He's the enforcer. Okay, so I guess it's sometimes difficult to get out of character, right? So especially right after a game or right before a game, if you're asking stupid questions, that's what you're gonna get, mate. You're gonna get fucking told off.
I've been wanting to ask Evan's wife if she'll like, hey, does Evan ever do baby talk with the child?
I'm sure he does, mate.
And if he does, you should post a video of that. Like that would be I mean, we'd laugh at it, but to be
Yeah,
honest, we've had this discussion before. If I had to run
yeah,
to the market and Evan was my neighbor, I would let him watch my kid. Like, because I know
yeah,
at worst, I'm gonna come back and he's gonna be doing arm curls with my kid in his arm. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like he's
yeah,
not like we look at these guys as being violent motherfuckers on the pitch, but the reality is like, yeah, dude, I'd probably be okay. I mean, I'd let any of them around my chick except for maybe Damien, but that's about
yeah.
he's the young buck, dude. He's a young
Yeah,
shooter.
yeah.
Like I'm not letting him around my chick at all, dude, because he might snatch her, but like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
you'd
yeah,
fucking feel safe with these guys around your kids or something like that. Cause I mean
yeah,
that's what we've built here. We've built like this violently aggressive team, but they're people we like. Like it's
yeah.
not I don't hate anybody on the team. There's people that no, I can't even say there's anybody on the team that I'm like, oh, I wouldn't fucking I'd hang out with every single one of them, dude. Like it would be I'm pretty sure it wouldn't be as fun with some of them, like because I don't imagine Peter Steph Toy is a big video game player, but who knows? Maybe he's on Call of Duty all the time, and we just don't fucking
Yeah, for sure.
he might like anime for all. He might go home and like
Uh,
or and watch cartoons for all we
he
fucking.
might be sitting at home painting his nails black and listening to emo shit. I
Yeah,
don't
like,
fucking know.
we don't know, but I don't care because when he's on the field, that he doesn't look like a person that does like. You find out that certain rugby players have odd hobbies, especially here in America. Like a lot of
Yeah,
them are Twitch streamers playing video games and shit, and it's just kind of like you have to remember that these guys are yeah, they're people too, man. Like they might be into
yeah,
shit
for
that
sure.
maybe we find to be nerdy as hell. Like, I mean,
Like for all we know, yeah, but could be knitting.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past them. I mean, I've known some tough. I mean, we all saw Demolition Man with
Yeah, but that's why I'm saying it. I remember the Venetian Man.
he was knitting after he'd got done for. I mean, we might see that, but so yes, next week, ladies and gentlemen, we will be live on here with the game on television. Hopefully, I can find a stream that's close to your time or we're on the same time. Unfortunately, being all the way over here in America, it's depends. But I have about 4 options, so I'm sure I can find one that works. And I will not be wearing a Scotland jersey. I promise. I promise you guys. I will be wearing a Springbok jersey, as will the man Pierre in Boxburg. Damn. Do you even know what your weather's gonna? How is your weather there right now?
Oh God, bro, it's so fucking hot. It was
Like
so hot today. Like
like 30s?
it was like 39 degrees earlier when I checked.
Kidding me?
I was fucking dying of the heat, man. Like, like I don't think it's everywhere that it was like that, but like where I was at that moment, it was fucking 39 degrees, mate, and it was just fucking. I was dying. And
Hold on.
then, like I checked, like now it's 28 degrees.
So it's 24 today. It's gonna get up to 26, but it's been raining a lot the last couple of days, and then it finally on Tuesday we get down to 19 as a high. So it's finally starting to cool down in November here.
Yeah.
And you're going the exact opposite. You're going to the top, and I think it's like I said, I think it's spring and fall. We have the same exact weather, but like
Yeah.
when it's summer there, it's winter here, winter there. And I think our summers are fairly close. It gets into the lower 40s, and it does it. It's I don't think the humidity is bad there because you're in a higher elevation, but it's
Yeah, we're in the high felt, so
it's humid as dog shit here because it's been raining. So
it's as humid in Durban though. Durban is humid as fuck, bro. Like I swear you would fucking
everybody keeps
lose weight.
telling me, they were like, "Yeah, you go over. Is it the Drakensberg Mountains that separate that?"
Yeah.
But you go over the mountains, and they're like, as soon as you go over the mountains, everything's green and it's just fucking humid constantly. Like, I guess because
They got like tropical weather there, mate. They like got the same fucking weather all year round almost.
it's the Indian Ocean, because they're on a warmer ocean as opposed to the Atlantic on the other side of the country. So, but one last thing I had to mention: one of my followers who lives in Pretoria, she's a Korean woman who does like she's an influencer.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah, so she went to go eat with her husband in a restaurant last night, I believe, and they're in there eating, and the place got robbed
Oh shit!
while she's eating. Like, a guy comes
Where the
in.
fuck did they go?
What's up?
Where the fuck did they go?
I don't know, but it looked like they were like in a shopping center somewhere, but like it got robbed. So they like, as soon as the guys ran out, they like locked all the doors, and all the other businesses knew what was going on. So they locked their doors and shit. And you hear the cops coming and whatever. But it was like, I had to tell her, like, I know you think that's a unique thing here, but I've been like in a gas station here. Like I was like at the back getting, I think I might have been getting a Red Bull or Monster was invented by South Africans. I found that out this week. Monster energy drink is was invented by 2 South Africans. But I was getting like a drink, a Monster or a Red Bull, and a guy came in with a gun and like robbed the guy at the counter at gunpoint. And I was just like, whoa, fuck it out. And I mean, this was not in a bad area. This is like an upper middle class suburb. And it's like, wow. And like the guy like hit the little, and I go up there, I'm like, can I still pay for this and go? And he's like, cash or card? And I'm like, card. He's like, yeah, just swipe your card, man. He's like, get out of here. He's like, you don't. So I didn't want to talk to the cops, dude. I just wanted to go about my business, man. Like, it was crazy, man. It was crazy. But yeah, we'll be back here next Sunday to talk shit about Scotland while they're getting their asses beat by the Springboks.
Man, we gotta do it. We gotta do it. It's not a fucking joke, mate. We have to do it.
I can only imagine how loud we're gonna get if we see Finn Russell get folded like it's.
Bro, I don't know where the fuck I'm gonna sit in my place, but I'm gonna fucking jump up if we score every time. I'm gonna lose my fucking shit.
Fuck yeah.
You know
until we're there watching a game together, this is what we're gonna have to do, because there's gonna be a day where I'm there and we're watching a game together, and I'm sitting here with my Coca-Cola. You got a fucking big ass fucking beer, and like we're in the stadium, and when these guys score, we're like fucking doing backflips, man. Like fuck, dude. Like it's been a hot minute since I've been able to watch the Springboks, and when I see them, it's just an exciting time. Unfortunately, I have to admit that they don't have the best record when I'm in attendance.
Yeah,
I've seen them. I've seen them lose 3 times and win once. So, but anyways, yeah, we will see you guys next week. Pierre, any final words for the?
Nah, just thanks for everybody that came out. We do appreciate you, of course, popping by. But yeah, we're looking forward to watching the game together next week, and we look forward to seeing you guys a lot on our live as well.
Yeah.
Just one thing is going to be biased as fuck to next week. I've got to be honest. You got to know it. Okay. We are not going to cheer if Scotland fucking scores. We are going to cheer when the Springbok scores, and we're going to flick the ref. Okay. If he gives a shit call, and even if he gives a good call, we might flick him too. So it's going to be biased as fuck. Just so you know.
Yeah, definitely. All right, guys. We'll see you guys at game time next week.
Sure.